there YouTube friends, Spanakorizo, and welcome back to Mom's Greek Kitchen, the channel where I teach you my mom's Greek recipes in her memory. Today we're making another vegetarian dish or a side dish. It's also used as a stuffing. It's called Spanakorizo, another long Greek name, Spanakorizo. Spanaki is spinach, rizi is rice, so Spanakorizo is spinach rice. It's quite a tasty side. It acts as a starch because of the rice and a vegetable. We use it, Mom used to use it to stuff calamari and then pan fry it, which I will do as another variation of this recipe, or using this recipe. I would think it would be great in like stuffed vegetables. I would think it would be great wrapped in either in cabbage leaves or grapevine leaves like gomades. So it's a relatively easy recipe. Like I said, very tasty. So let's go into the kitchen and I'll show you how to put it together. Alright, we're ready to get started. So I'm going to turn my burner on. So here I have one large onion that's been chopped. And we're going to do that sweating trick that Mom always did. So we're just going to add a couple tablespoons of water on the bottom. And we're going to sweat down the onion so that when we add our oil and saute it, they won't burn as we're browning them. That's the only reason I can think of that Mom used to do this step. So we're going to do it and go from there. Alright, our onions are almost dry here. So I'm now going to add some olive oil. Probably about 2-3 tablespoons. Just a little more, say that 4 tablespoons. And we're going to cook these till they're nicely browned. Alright, our onions are nicely brown. And you can see that there. So we're going to continue with our recipe. We're going to add about 4 big cloves of garlic. And saute those until they're fragrant. We're also going to add some salt. And some pepper. Okay, and now our next step is to add a can of tomato paste. And fry off the tomato paste a little bit. Get rid of that raw, tinny flavor that it can sometimes have. Okay. And now we're going to add some more flavorings. So the first thing I'm adding is some green onions, and I've got about 3 or 4 green onions, just roughly chopped. And then we're going to add our herbs, and you can use parsley, you can use dill, You can use fennel or a combination of all three or any two. I don't have any fresh fennel. I've got frozen, so I'm not using that. But I have about a tablespoon of ground dill and about 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. Flat leaf or curly is fine. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. And then I'm going to add the star of the show. So here I've got 1 pound of baby spinach. I actually bought the bagged spinach, but you can use bunches. Just make sure you wash it well and chop it so they're not really big. And about 1 pound, 2 to 3 bunches, give or take. And we're going to wilt down the spinach. You want a big pot for this. There we go. Now the spinach will exude quite a lot of liquid, so I'm going to put a lid on it for a minute. I'm going to turn my heat down to a medium-high. We don't want the spinach and the tomato paste to catch. So I'm using, like I said, bagged spinach, so it's not going to have as much liquid on it as if I had just washed a bunch of bunches of spinach and left them kind of wet. So I mean, I will need to add a bit more water than you would normally do if you're using fresh spinach or bunches, but as you can see, it cooks down quite a bit. So that big bag of, that was 2 8-ounce bags of spinach that are now about 2 or 3 cups worth of spinach, and relatively dry. So here I have 1 cup of long grain rice. You can also use a converted rice. So we're going to add that to our mixture here and stir it in well. And I'm going to add some water, because mine's not very wet. Say about 3/4 of a cup or so. The rest of the liquid will come from the spinach. Make sure you get all the rice grains down into the mixture so they don't stay hard on the, and they don't get cooked on the sides of the your pot. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Yeah, that's good there. So you want sort of a sloppy mixture. We're going to bring it to a boil. Reduce our heat down to a medium-low. Put the lid on, and we'll come back and check it in about 15-20 minutes or so. So I'll be back to show you what that looks like. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes, so let's check our Spanakorizo. I think it's going to need some more time from the looks of the rice. I'm going to turn down the heat to low, so I may need to turn it up a little bit. Let's taste this though. Yeah, still hard. Tastes good though. Needs a little bit more salt. So I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. I'm going to stir in the salt. So I have it on at medium now, and I'll be back in another 15 minutes. Alright, it's been about another 15 minutes, so about half an hour, 30 to 35 minutes since we checked. I did add a little bit of extra liquid. It was starting to stick a bit on the bottom for me, but this is looking good. So we have a nice thick mixture, which will get thicker as it cools, which is when you want to use it if you're going to use it as a stuffing. But let's see if that's nice and tender, the rice. That's all that we really have to cook at this point. So there's a little portion, just a taster here. It's hot. Yeah, that's just on the edge. There's just a tiny bit of firmness, but that'll continue to cook off the heat. It's yeah, good for salt. It's actually just a titch more, I think. The rice and the spinach both like salt, so we'll just add a little bit of extra, but everything else is just on the money. So this is our finished Spanakorizo. Like I said, it can be used as a side, sort of a combo starch and vegetable, but it's more often used as a stuffing. And I'll be back with the squid stuffed with Spanakorizo in another video. Alright, I hope you try this. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't, let your friends know about the channel, and I'll see you next time with another video. Alright, take care, bye bye.